All right, guys. Uh, thank you for joining us today. My name is Anthony Oster. I've hopefully worked with most, if not all of you. And so I really appreciate you joining us for this workshop. We will be going through the 2025 CASPA application that opened just a couple of weeks ago now. I was really hoping to do this workshop earlier, but with the timing of Workday student onboarding a little bit later than we were hoping, and then finals week coming up, I felt like waiting until after finals was really the best time to do this. So just in case you don't know, what is CASPA? CASPA is the centralized PA school application. It's part of a larger suite of applications for other healthcare programs. AMCAS for medical school, PTCAS for physical therapy, OTCAS for occupational therapy, PharmCAS for pharmacy, et cetera, et cetera. One of the nice perks about using this system is that the majority of PA schools and other health professions are all connected to this program. And so once you've done one, you can kind of do all. I did have a question come in. Yes, this recording will be placed on the Moodle online for you all to review later as well if you need it. And in any case, if you lose your access to the Moodle after graduation, you can always email me and I will send you a link to the video for you to watch as well. That was a really great question. We're going to dive right in talking about some things to look for, best practices and whatnot. And I'm going to assume that everyone here has not created a CASPA account yet. And so when you do log in to CASPA, you can actually just navigate to CASPA directly by doing a quick Google search for CASPA. I like to go ahead and add on Liaison CAS afterwards. Liaison CAS is the name of the company that runs CASPA, and that'll bring you right up here to the first hit where it will load us in here. You will be asked to create an account. You've probably all made a bunch of accounts before. What I will suggest, and those of you who've talked with me at any given length of time will know that I've suggested this for my seniors. Now is the time to transition away from your LSU email address. And so when you are creating an account, if you haven't created an account already, I would strongly suggest that you create a new personal email account. Could just be your first name, last name at Gmail, right? Don't rely on the LSU email account because those will be deactivated after some time once you graduate. And so we don't want to hear any acceptances getting lost because your email address was inactive. So pretty basic sign up here. That would be my one just best practices. Go ahead and create a new email address. I would suggest if you haven't done it already, now's the time to just create that professional sounding, vivianfam@gmail.com, Jenna Kidry. I'm just looking at my list here. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in because I've already done that. And that will load you to the main page. Actually, when you very first sign in, you're going to be asked to select some programs that you would like to apply to. And while we're on this screen, I would want to go over a few different things here. And so as I'm certain most of us are looking at programs here in Louisiana, we do have 3 that are part of the CASPA application system right now, that being LSU Health New Orleans, LSU Health Shreveport, Xavier University, Louisiana, and I'll just click all of them there. You can, of course, search for programs by state or by name, and so we may be looking in Texas, and we can grab a couple of these too. there's a few really important bits of information once you've selected your different programs that I want to spend a few minutes talking about. Um, oops, let's see. The very first thing I want you to take a look at is the start term. So this will tell us when the PA program you're applying to starts their program. As you can see, the LSU Health Sciences Center in New Orleans starts in spring. Shreveport starts in the summer. Um, Texas Tech starts in the summer. Xavier University starts in the spring. Why is that important? If you are graduating next week, world's your oyster. You can apply to as many programs as you like. If you are going to be graduating, though, maybe in the spring of 2026, and you're looking to apply here early, some of these summer programs, Texas Tech, LSU Health, Shreveport, you can go ahead and start applying to those programs. It would not make sense, though, for you to apply to one of these spring starts because you're still going to be wrapping up your degree. You have your deadline for applying, and as you'll see, the in-state programs all have a deadline here of August 1st. We'll come back to that. And then I want to come back to the deadline and talk a little bit about that. But I also want to show you the deadline definition and look for a few different programs here. There are actually three different types of deadlines that you're going to find from programs. And I have them pulled up. You'll notice all of the ones I've selected are green deadlines. A green deadline must not only submit their application online, but CASPA has to review and verify your application before it will be considered. Okay, hold on to that thought. Orange deadlines, the application simply has to be complete, meaning you filled out all of your components, your transcripts have been received, 2 letters of references have been received, and you paid for the application. A blue deadline just needs your information and it needs to have that submit button clicked by the time that you apply. So going back to the application, you'll notice LSU Health, New Orleans, Shreveport, and Xavier are all green applications, meaning your application has to be verified before they will consider you for admission. I have spent years now going through the data that I have from CASPA and looking at the timeline of, how long does it take for a student to submit their application and then have it verified. Uh, in my review of this, on average, it takes about 41 days from the moment that you submit a completed application before CASPA completes their verification process. And so knowing that the 3 honestly most popular programs here in Louisiana are all green applications requiring a verification, you want to keep that 41-day window in mind. I'm just going to call it 6 weeks. And so you're going to want to turn in your application at minimum 41 days before this deadline. Again, I'm going to say safest course of action will probably be roughly 6 weeks before August 1st. 6 weeks will be roughly June 15th. And so that gives you guys just a little bit over a month now to kind of go through what else we're going to go through on this application, fine tune everything, polish everything, get your letters of rec in order. I would set a hard alarm on your phones, hard reminder on your phones, like June 15th, get everything in for review to allow CASPA that time to get everything processed, particularly if you're applying to any of these green applications. I'm just going to go ahead and look through and show you A lot of them are. Arcadia University here looks like they've got blue applications. Arizona School of Health Sciences has orange. Um, so just, you know, keep a close eye not only on the type of application, but the deadline and the type of the application when you are selecting a program. I'm not going to go through all of the programs here. I just wanted to give you all kind of a run through of what to look for, where the programs are located. You will see also the majority of them are on campus. Let me scroll to find one. There are hybrid and there are uh, fully virtual options. I'm not coming across anything other than on campus, looks like at the very moment, but that modality could be present there as well. Once you have selected your programs, it'll give you a rough estimate of how much everything will cost. When I set this up, I had to skip through that. So that'll be another screen you'll see before coming to the main CASPA application portal. This is all really, really super intuitive. So as you are completing steps, this little bar is going to move up and it lets you know how many sections are completed. In all honesty, you can probably get the personal information and most of your supporting information done in the better part of an hour. Um, what I'm going to do is just go through some highlights here of important things to consider as an ask from me to you. I really, really would appreciate if you click yes to this advisor release. So many of you, I'm looking at names here in the chat, and so many of you have benefited from personal discussions with me where I've been able to talk to you about acceptance rates and what makes a good candidate, what makes a not so good candidate. And I'm able to do that because I can see who has been selected. I can see their academic record. And I can kind of see the trends of where students are being accepted. And I can only do that when a student approves of the advisor release. And so, that information does remain part of your private FERPA information. So those of you who've had those discussions with me, you'll know I never talk about other students, but I can use that acceptance data to help guide our decisions there. So I really appreciate it if you would consider clicking yes on that. Biographic information, you do need to have your legal name. If you have a former name, make sure just to go ahead and have that put on here. They do ask you for your gender identity. You can decline to state, and then birthday, country of origin, state of origin, etc. Contact information. As I alluded to when we were building our CASPA application, I want you guys to think about the fact that in a lot of situations, you may not be hearing back about your acceptance to PA school for weeks or months, or maybe even closer to a year, just depending on where we're applying. And so, um, they do ask for you have a current address and a permanent address. I would definitely opt for a permanent address if you have one. If you don't, and you think you might be moving around or you don't have housing security, it might even be worth considering purchasing a PO box. Again, just don't want to have any of those acceptance letters come to an address that isn't there any longer, or is no longer yours. Same thing, your email will be tied to the email you use to create your profile. If you pick an LSU email address, you'll have to go through and change that whole process all over again. Citizen information is pretty self-explanatory. Race and ethnicity is also pretty self-explanatory. If you'll notice the race and ethnicity information, some of these like citizenship have the stars on here. You have to report on that. If you don't feel comfortable disclosing this information, you'll notice these are not required. Family information, you can enter any demographic information here about your your parents. Um, Again, not always a requirement. Some people will choose to do this, some will not. Um, and you do have to have at least one person here. So, childhood residency, the last where you grew up. Um, Sometimes, like if you're a military family, you're moving around a lot. This can be something where you'll want to expand upon under this description. Um, And yeah, they're asking some specific questions here, like, do you feel the area you grew up in was medically underserved? And you can answer that and expand upon that as well. Um, Other information they're going to ask, and this is I encounter these issues sometimes too. If you have had a license infraction, and what they mean by that is not your driver's license, but let's say you're a phlebotomist and you've lost the rights, or you've had your license suspended, you would want to talk about that, or any other professional license that's been suspended. Academic infractions, those are things that happen somewhat frequently, I find. And so if you have found yourself at the dean of students office with a hold on your transcript, or a notation on your transcript, they are going to ask you to explain that, or conduct violations. There are situations where I know that the Dean of Students Office will remove those if you fulfill certain criteria. I would default to the Dean of Students Office to see exactly where you stand with that before you answer this question. I have been aware of situations where a student misled the information on this question, and a PA school did follow up, and that student was not selected because they were misleading on this information. And so I know it's not a fun topic to talk about, but if you find yourself in one of those situations, if you click yes, they will give you a 300 word count way to kind of give a brief description and explain what happened and how things have been impacted from there. Uh, Same thing if you've ever been investigated by CASPA, if you have a criminal history, um, those are things you will want to disclose. I hope that we don't have to, but if you do, you know, make sure to disclose that and kind of follow the prompts that come up. They do have a life experiences. How can your life circumstances impact, or how have they impacted you moving forward, or moving through PA school? And they still have the COVID-19 statement here. And many of us, were in college when the initial shutdown was going on. You were in high school during the shutdowns. If you feel that your uh, academic performance was impacted, this would be a good time to talk about that. If you found some cool job opportunities, if the pandemic helped shape your viewpoint on healthcare, I might also add some stuff in there. So, um, and then last but not least, military history. So biographic information should take you guys relatively little time. Supporting information, the very first part of this will be your letters of recommendation. They call them evaluations here. And there is room for two. Most PA schools require a minimum of two evaluations. So they require a minimum of two evaluations for you. You will go to create your first evaluation request, and I'm just going to send myself one. So you'll type in that person's contact information. So if you shadowed a PA, or if you have a really great professor, Dr. Donzi, Dr. Thompson, and they've agreed to write you a letter, this is where you will type that in. You can give them a due date. And again, I want to think back to when will I be submitting this application, thinking about New Orleans, thinking about Shreveport. I know I said June 15th was kind of my hard deadline. I might give them June 7th as as a deadline, just to give a small buffer in case you had to go find another letter of rec really quick. You can write a nice little message to them. They will ask if you want to waive your rights to the evaluation. This is a yes or no. A lot of times when you click yes, the general belief is that you feel pretty confident in the evaluation. If you really want to read that evaluation, you can click no and gain access to that. You give CASPA permission to contact the reference. You give the schools that you're applying to permission to contact the reference, and then you can save that evaluation request. Once you've done so, it will email that evaluator that you've got one. So some of you on the call, I know I've got evaluation requests for you. Those will be coming just as soon as grades post in a couple of days. You can add up to 5 evaluation requests. So I always tell students, lead with your top 2. Some programs want more. You can put in up to 5. Typically, a program will not read more than they will read. And so, you can add all 5 if you want. I'm going to default to the individual programs there as to how many you should put in, but I think 3 is a good safe number. Personal experiences. This is where I get a lot of questions. This is really where you're going to type in your healthcare experiences, patient care, non-healthcare employment. And I would honestly tell you, put everything of value in here, one experience at a time. And so, if you waitressed at Chili's all through college, you've got customer service experience. I would put that in here. If you have been doing research with biology, great place to put that in here. Leadership in a sorority, I'd put that in here. And you are going to build out each and every type of experience that you can, and they will break it down. Non-healthcare employment, extracurricular healthcare experience, shadowing. What I would do, patient care experiences, I would differentiate, if you were observing a PA or observing a physician, I would call that shadowing. If you were actively treating someone, say if you were a phlebotomist, I would call that patient care. If you were volunteering at guest services in a hospital, I would call that healthcare. The others I think are pretty self-explanatory, but I get a lot of questions about PT tech. If you were actively treating the patient as a tech, patient care. If you were assisting a physical therapist as a tech, healthcare experience. Most programs in the region require a minimum of 80 to 100 shadowing hours of a PA. And so just kind of keep that in mind, that you definitely want to have those experiences documented. If you look through the fields here and you have been someone who has been a part of my Moodle for some time, you'll know I have that spreadsheet on there. You'll notice a lot of overlap here in the information here. Hopefully you've been able to jot down that information and save it for the time that you have here. You will put the supervisor who you work with or the PA you work with, their contact info, their phone numbers, etc. Achievements, big things that I would include, any scholarships. My Louisiana students, don't forget to include the top scholarship if you received it. Scholarships, awards, recognition, dean's list, president's honor roll, the whole 9 yards. And I wouldn't just say I received the dean's list. I mean, it would be dean's list fall semester 2024, dean's list spring semester 2025. List every single achievement that you have earned. You want this to look really impressive along with your experiences. If you do have a license or certification, again, licensed phlebotomist, EMT, this is the place to put that. If you are CPR certified, this is the place to list that. The last components, I guess, you have memberships. You can include things. Again, our PA organization's great. Any sororities, any professional memberships, go ahead and list them here, or you can choose that you're not adding any memberships. The personal statement. This is the personal statement that every single PA school that you apply to will be reading, and so this is where you're going to really talk about your passion for becoming a PA. I really want to take a moment to refer everyone over to our LSU Lind Career Center. They are available for you even after graduation. You can set up one-on-one appointments. They will assist you with this over the next couple of weeks. But if you also do a quick search for the LSU Lind Career Center and type in pre-health personal statement, they have a really, really solid document online that just provides such a really great walkthrough. Um, if you've not given some thought to what this personal statement is, this really kind of gives you some writing prompts. Why do I want to be a PA? How will being a PA help me fulfill my goals? What experiences make me ready for this profession? Then kind of have you polish things out into your accomplishments, your involvement. So it's really, really good um, tool if you haven't already started writing this. They will also read through your personal statement and help you polish it before you submit it. But this one on the main portion of the application is the personal statement every single PA school will read. And so you also want to be careful not to talk about how much you love LSU Health New Orleans if you're also applying to Xavier, if you're also applying to Shreveport, because they will see that statement here. And I'll show you where you can sing your praises to individual schools a little bit later. Any big questions about the personal information or the supporting information before I go forward and talk about academic history or program materials? And if you want to unmute, you can unmute. If you want to type in the chat, if you have questions, type in the chat. All right, I'm not seeing any questions. I may have one coming through. Let's give them a second. Yep, not seeing any questions. So we've covered personal information. We've covered supporting information. What will probably take, well, we do have one come in here. Really good question. So I had a question come through about a letter of recommendation from the previous cycle. So when you do load up CASPA, if you have had a previous application, it will import your information from the personal information, supporting information, and academic history. It will not import your letters of recommendation. So it's a really good question. So if you can still use the same evaluators, but they will have to write and submit a new letter for you for this cycle and any additional cycles. So very, very good question there. It's one of the few bits that is not transferred over when you do import that. All right, so moving on, we're going to go to the academic history. This will take the longest portion of time, and I'm only going to scratch the surface on this. So you will put in your high school, you will add in any colleges attempted or attended. And so what I run into a lot of times, or why an application may not be considered complete, is so many students may have done dual enrollment coursework when they were in high school and then came to LSU. and they assume that they've only ever been at LSU. Let's just say you did dual enrollment through Southeastern or through Baton Rouge Community College. You have got to list those schools under colleges attended. Um, you'll consider them freshman year, but you'll want to make sure the dates match whatever timeline you were taking those classes as dual enrollment. That also means you'll be submitting a transcript from those schools. So do not fall into the trap of I did dual enrollment, I came to LSU, I'm only submitting an LSU transcript. Likewise, I have some transfer students who started at BRCC or started at Southeastern, then transferred to LSU and only submit the LSU transcript because yes, we have a record of your Southeastern coursework there, but CASPA wants the original. And so you'll list every school you've ever attempted when you fill this out. Now, for today's purposes, I am just going to put LSU. And I find the best way to do this is just go ahead and type in Louisiana State University, because it gives you a couple of options here. You'll see LSU A&M, LSU Alexandria, LSU Baton Rouge. The long story short here is LSU Baton Rouge is our LSU online program. LSU A&M is where all of you all are graduating from. And so you can select either, and CASPA will usually fix it on the back end, but you will save yourself some processing time if you make sure that you're selecting LSU A&M Baton Rouge when you do this portion here. So, and if you've already submitted this or you're already going through, if you have the opportunity to go back and edit, go back and change this to LSU A&M. Did you obtain, are you planning to obtain a degree? Yes, we're going to say, we're just going to call it degree awarded because all of you guys are graduating next week or you've graduated. And I will just make up a degree for myself here. So a Bachelor of Science, I'm going to say kinesiology, and then I earned this degree in May of 2025. So I have a biology minor. So you go ahead and include all of your information. If you were a double major, another degree, go ahead and add that. We are a semester system school. I will say no, I'm not still attending, and then it will give you, you'll have to put in your first semester, typically always August, and I'll just say it was 2021. Last semester, spring. And so you'll just want to make sure that your information here matches what it is supposed to match. And you can save. Repeat that for every school that you've gone to. I'm going to take a quick moment there to switch gears and show you all. So we are now on the Workday student platform. And so I want to show you all how to access your academic record on Workday Student, because it's going to be a little bit different than before. Now, I know when students log in, they see a range of different things. What I'm going to have you all do when you're looking for this is find the little profile icon right here, the little person looking guy. Click on that, and that should bring down this drop down menu, and then you're going to click on View Profile. That should bring this purple menu up for you. If you log into a computer, the purple menu should be there already. If you're on a tablet or a phone, it may not be. So that's why I'm taking that extra step. You're going to want to click on Academics, and then you'll see this long tab open up over here. You're going to click on Academic History, and that will bring up your previous classes, your fall semester classes now. Once grades finalize in a couple of days, the spring should also populate on here. If you're taking summer courses, you'll also click on the current classes to see those courses. But as you scroll down on this academic history page, this will give you the course name, title, course number, your grade points, and the grade points earned for each of these courses here. You can also, if you transferred, you'll have this transfer credit screen, and that'll tell you, you had biology 1202 from Southeastern or whatever course it might be. When you are inputting your transfer credits, you're going to want to make sure you're using the Southeastern BRCC numbering, not the LSU numbering. But we'll get to that in a moment. So take a quick note here. I'm going to jot this down just for myself to make things easy. But Mike took Bio 1201 in the fall semester. They earned an A. They had 4 grade points, 3 hours, 12 total grade points. So Bio 1201, grade of A, 3 credit hours, 12 grade points. As we go to your transcript entry, you're going to be given an option here where you can actually pay to have CASPA do this for you. It's $85 for up to 3 transcripts. Price goes up as you have more schools. We do have an amount of time right now where if what I'm about to show you seems very, very tedious and you've got the $85, might be worth having them do it. So I'm going to say no, I'm going to handle it myself. And then that will pull up LSU. It'll pull up any other colleges that you've loaded in. And I am just going to start. Oh, one thing I'd like to show you too is it will show you each school and their prerequisites that they require. So you'll want to make sure that you have these lined up as you're entering in your coursework. We'll add a semester, and because my example said fall 2024, that's just what I'm going to put here. I pulled a freshman, so course code is Bio 1201. Let's see, what did I have that course listed as? All right, so we call that one Biology for Science Majors 1. So that's what we are going to type that into here. Subject is going to be biological sciences. For the subject line, you're going to want to do the best that you can to match up the subject line. Like I wouldn't pick biomedical science. We're looking just for biological sciences, or maybe even biology. We're just going to call it biology. So it was 3 credits. We had a grade of an A. And that was it. So we will save that. You will repeat that process. You can add a course. Let's just say, what's it here? What else was my second course on this one? Chemistry 1201. This one was called General Chemistry 1. I earned an A+ on that one. So you can actually type in the plus or the minus. Let's just pretend that Mike received credit for college algebra, but didn't actually take that course. And on his academic history, we have a P. And that'll just calculate right here. Let's also pretend that Mike maybe took Psychology 2000 One thing to take note of here is that if you saw earlier, I had a little typo. When they are reviewing your transcript entry, if you have a typo, that'll be one of those things that takes a little bit of time for CASPA to review. We're going to pretend Mike withdrew from W. You notice the grade here says none. I'm going to throw another semester on here because I just want to show you all a few examples. And I realize this is not probably how most people would have taken these courses, but we're going to pretend. And so let's do Kines 2500, human anatomy. In that one. And we'll go ahead and add Kines 3500. Not type today. I'll again call this anatomy and physiology. Physiology. Don't come for me in the comments because I know this class is only offered over the summer. Just giving you all an example. Actually, I'm going to do something else with that. Let's do we'll cover most of the things I want to show you. And so you can see this is just a time-consuming process. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get everything loaded up. Chemistry lab is a 2-hour course. All right, so we do a couple things here. Thinking out loud, the human physiology lab here is only offered in the summer. So I'm actually going to code it like that. We're going to call this summer 2025. Call it post back because you graduated. And summer hasn't started yet, so it is in progress / planned. We'll add that course in here. Is get 1 credit hour. And you'll notice you're not able to type in a letter grade here. And I'm going to go ahead and also add Psychology 2000 because we dropped it up here. And so that's going to be a repeated course. So that's going to cover most of the things that I'm going to want to show you as we go forward. Of course, you guys are going to have 4+ years of this, so you will be inputting many more classes there. We're going to leave that alone for now. You will enter your standardized tests. You'll notice there's only a place for a TOEFL, an MCAT, or a GRE. So if you're applying to LSU Health New Orleans or anywhere else using the PA-CAT, you're going to follow their supplemental instruction materials to find out where to submit that PA-CAT score when you go forward. All right, so once you have finished out your transcript entry, you've typed in every semester, we're going to click on review and finalize my transcripts, and it's going to ask you some questions. It's going to ask which school was your primary university. For most of you here, that'll be LSU A&M. Did you repeat any classes? Well, yeah, we did. We repeated psychology. And so it's going to ask you to go select the courses that you repeated. So you're going to select every attempt at that course. If this W was an F and you repeated it, you're going to select every attempt at that course. Did you receive any advanced placement exams? Well, yes, I did. I had advanced placement in college algebra. I had that letter P grade. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. I'm going to look for any other advanced placement and then click I am done. Any additional tests other than advanced placement? I didn't put that in here, but like sometimes students will test out of Spanish. So that might be an example here. I don't have an option to show you that, so I'm going to click no. Were any of these honors courses? I don't have them listed, but if you did, we'll just pretend that this Bio 1201 was the honors section of 1201. Any courses abroad? No. And then we can continue on from there. Last but not least will be the program materials. And this is where each individual school will have some things for you to fill out. So I'm going to focus here on LSU Health New Orleans, and they will give you all of their prerequisite information, program details, technical standards. They expect you are going to be reading through all of this. LSU Health New Orleans has a series of other questions that they want to ask for. Right now, it looks like they're only asking if you have previously applied, and if so, which cycle have you previously applied to? When you're done, you can click Save. And then many programs here will ask you to outline your prerequisites. So there's a few things I want to show you here. Chemistry 1 with lab. Well, at LSU, we don't have a Chemistry 1 lab, right? We have Chemistry 1212. Go ahead and still select Chemistry 1 and Chemistry 1212 because this was a 2-hour lab. It's going to count for both Chem 1 and Chem 2. We're going to repeat that with Chemistry 2 and Chem 2 lab. Chemistry, 1202, Chem 1212. Anatomy with lab. You'll go ahead and pick the Knies 2500, 3500. Physiology with lab. It'll be 2160, 2161. Now, New Orleans will allow you to apply with just 2160 if you're not able to get into that lab. But we're going to come back to that in another minute here. You'll notice the same thing happens with biochemistry, with organic chemistry, that the organic chem lab is paired with organic 2, so you'll want to include that. But you're going to go through each field here and just make sure that you highlight what applies as, behavioral science, microbiology, genetics, etc. I want to go take a look at another school. Let's look at LSU Health Shreveport. You'll notice here they have an additional form. It says documents. So we'll go to their questions. LSU Health Shreveport wants to know if you've attended any programs at the Shreveport campus. Did you apply to the PA program in the previous cycle? Were you selected as an alternate? Were you not selected as an alternate? Did you not apply? Did you obtain a bachelor's from any of these programs here? Centenary College, cardiopulmonary science, or medical lab science? The reason why they're asking that is there is a program where they will consider you for an interview if you completed one of these programs with a certain GPA range. Save my answers. They are asking for some additional documents. And so if you have a course that are unsure of, you can actually submit your course description or syllabus here for LSU Health Shreveport. And then again, they've got the prerequisites for you to outline. I want to go to one that has, here we go, Anatomy and Physiology 1, Anatomy and Phys 2. Whenever you see a school mention anatomy and physiology, kind of like chemistry, I would give them that full range of 8 hours of coursework. I would give them that on both A&P 1 and A&P 2, just so they know which classes are kind of counting as that anatomy and that physiology. And so again, once you have your full transcript loaded, you'll have the options to load all these things here. Xavier University, they kind of ask a few of their own questions. Xavier gives you the opportunity to have an additional personal statement. This might be where you talk about why specifically are you applying to Xavier University. And again, you'll have the place for you to go ahead and outline what they ask for anatomy and phys 2, anatomy and phys 1, to lab. In this case, I might put the lectures together. I might put anatomy and I might put physiology lecture here. And then for the lab, I would probably put both labs, phys lab, anatomy lab, and the physiology lab. All right, so that can all be done once you have completed your academic history. Once everything's complete, you're going to see these green bars go all the way through, and then you can go and submit your application to apply to these 4 schools. Would be $367. You can, we'll remove Texas Tech. That brings the price down a little bit, but this is where you can go. Maybe you only want to apply to one school. And it won't let you click submit until you finish everything, but it'll give you the price then for each of these. Once you're all done, you can also check your status, find out if you're in progress, get a copy of your application, find out if your transcripts have been accepted or not. I did not cover that. So to send your transcripts, we will go back to this colleges attended, and you can click this button right here where it says order, and you are going to be ordering through Parchment. They give you the information there, then you can click view Parchment now. You can also do a web search just for LSU transcript request, and LSU will give you the information that you need to order that through our website. I would recommend going ahead and ordering it through the CASPA portal, and you can identify once it's been ordered. All right, that is right at an hour, and I think we have covered all of the major components of this application. So for those of you who do not have questions, I thank you for joining me today. I will have this recording put online. Just for privacy's sake, I will stop the recording for individual questions.